Hey everyone, it is John C. Morley, serial entrepreneur here. Great to be with you this evening. If you are new to the channel, well, welcome to IFYL. We basically give you all kinds of great tips on how you can become a better version of yourself and how you can help other people become better versions of themselves as well. Wanted to share that with you and thank you so much for popping in. Hey there, Kenny. Thanks for popping in. Great to see you here. Another loyal subscriber. Hoping that many of our loyal subscribers will rub off on some of the new people coming because every single day we have a brand new subtopic based on the master topic of the week. And if you're wondering what that master topic is, well, wonder no more. Watch What You Say series, episode 2. All right. So I have a great one that I want to share with you, and it revolves around something called three-way calling. Maybe some of you remember it, maybe some of you don't know it. So three-way calling is a service that allows you to basically call somebody, touch the switch hook, and then put another party on, and then you have two people on the line. The little quinky dink is that the other person does not necessarily know that they're on a three-way call. So watch what you say is really important. When I was in my private high school, some of my friends thought it was funny if they could basically get somebody on the phone, ask them a question, and then really press them. So a lot of times I would get a call and they would say something like really nasty about somebody. And I said, I really don't want to talk about anybody. I said, yeah, but you really don't like them. I said, well, I won't say I don't like them. Yeah, but you really, and then they were trying to put words on it. I was like, or whatever. And then before I knew it, I knew that I went down a rabbit hole because I got this feeling, but the next day I was at school, that person was very cold to me, this other person that we had mentioned. And I said, I know it wasn't just the universe. And I said to my the friend that was calling me, I said, I'm just going to say his name. This other guy's name's Mark. That's not his name. I was like, Mark was really cold to me today, and I was nice to him. He said, oh, I don't know. Yeah, and I said to him, I said, I think you do know. What do you mean? Come here. So I brought him over to Mark. I said, hey, Mark. I said, look, I have a hunch I know why you're cold to me today. And everybody's jaw dropped. I never like to talk about anybody behind their back, and that's not my style. But this guy over here kept pushing me because he wouldn't stop. And I have this strange hunch that you were either over his house, which I don't think is the case, or you were on a three-way call. Because the reason I know this is that when I was on the phone with you, another friend of mine said he was trying to call you. And he couldn't. But then about an hour later, another friend called because he said he was calling you and that you were on the phone and he had to take and you took his call. So I think you have something called three-way calling, and I think what you're doing is really dirty and below. And so I said to Mark, I said, look, I apologize if that came out the wrong way. What I was trying to explain to him was that I don't dislike you. I feel sometimes that we may not see eye to eye. And you, I think, hung up before I had a chance to finish my conversation. He says, well, it's not that I don't like him. And then you probably hung up on what I continued to say. And Tom will tell you this, hopefully, if he's honest, that I don't dislike him. However, I said, yeah, he does kind of frustrate me. And then I said, I don't dislike him. It's just that I feel that I get manipulated by him. And I just wish he wouldn't do that. And you didn't share that with him, did you? No. But you made me look like a fool because when he was on the phone, Mark thought that I didn't like him because he didn't hear the rest of the conversation. And so whenever I got on a phone call from that moment forward with anybody from school, I presumed that they all had three-way calling. And yeah, we could call the number and see if somebody else was on the phone, but I didn't even want to go there. If they started talking about somebody, I said, you know what? I said, I don't want to play these games. Tomorrow, why don't we all sit down and talk, you, me, and the other person, and let's hash this all out. I said, let's not play these childish three-way party games where the other person's probably on the phone listening to the conversation, because we're just not doing this. This is childish, and this is really bad behavior, and somebody's feelings are going to get hurt. And, we're all friends, but we keep playing these games of who's more important. And nobody's more important. We all like each other the same, but I think we play these games. And I think this is really unfair. And so he knew what I was saying. And I remember going to school. And here's the phrase, watch what you say. Oh, yeah, he's a real. I said, no, he's actually pretty nice. Oh, really? I said, yeah. I will tell you one thing, though, that I probably am not crazy about what he did, but he's a great guy. I just, he thought it was funny to actually get me on the phone and somebody else that I didn't know, and then kind of placate me and try to get me to answer questions when I really didn't want to behind my back without them knowing. Me knowing that I was really known, but really the person was on the phone. And I remember my friends at the table saying, gee, that was low, Tom. And for, I think, at least 2 days, they didn't let him sit at the table. And for those of you that may or may not remember this, we had a lunchroom. And we had, I believe it was 3 different lunch periods. I think there was a 11 o'clock. I think there was a 12 o'clock and a 1 o'clock, if I remember correctly. And when you did something wrong, nobody wanted to sit around you. Nobody wanted to be near you. And so these 2 characters, because they were both in on it, got banned from our table. And I said, am I banned too? He says, no, John, you're not banned. You weren't doing anything wrong. In fact, you were trying to not do anything, but they kept trying to push you. I said, yeah. And so then about 2 or 3 days came by, and both of them said, John, can we be friends? And I said, well, we're friends. I said, right now we're just kind of in a little of a predicament, and it's a trust issue of whether I can trust you right now, because I feel like you just want to get me in trouble for something that I'm not even meaning to do. He said, well, John, you're right. I said, so it's going to take some time before I can build that trust back with you again. It'll happen. It might take a while. And this was, I'm going to say, probably just before the holidays, maybe before the Christmas holidays. And so, usually we would wish each other Merry Christmas. We would say Happy New Year's. And we weren't really talking to each other than, niceties. Well, January came and the second semester started, and we still weren't talking. We actually didn't start talking until a week before my birthday. And the reason was my parents were throwing me a birthday party. And I knew that I couldn't hold a grudge against these people, but I wanted them to learn a lesson that they couldn't just toy with me and play around with me, because that's wrong. And since that debate, that little debacle we had, no one else ever did a three-way party in our group or anybody's group. And we had another guy in the group, and I'm going to call him Timmy. That's not his name. And Timmy and Tommy were like, inseparable. They were like twins, but from two different mothers. I say twins because they were born basically at the same time in the same hospital. So they were kind of like twins, but from two different mothers. And he still thought it was pretty cool. He says, yeah. He says, you want to get him back for that? I said, get who back? And I said to him, I said, did you realize what happened? The stunt they pulled. They got banned from the main table. Nobody wanted to be around them. I didn't want to sit around them. And then I didn't talk to them until almost a week or two before my birthday in February. So that was like October, November, December to January to almost 3.5 months. So if you think it's funny to go do that and get back, is no, I want to show him up. I want to get him back. Timmy, I understand how you feel, and I'm not interested. And if you continue to keep wanting to do that, don't hang around with me anymore. Well, John, you don't need to be so sore. I'm not being sore, but I'm tired of us playing games that are going to break us apart when we have good friendships here. It's not about who's best friends. I mean, we're all friends. We don't have to meter that I'm a better friend than him or you're a better friend. We're all equal friends. We're all friends. And then he kind of got a little sore at me. He went away, and I talked to the other two guys, and I said, Timmy's not talking anymore. Oh, he'll get over it. What happened? I said, well, you know what he wanted to do? What? He wanted to do a three-way call to both of you. And needless to say, they went back to tell him that I said this. There was nothing hidden. I wanted to tell him the truth. And then he stopped talking to me. And I said, if we're going to keep playing these childish games, I don't want to be friends with anybody. So watch what you say can really make a difference, because some people feel they want to get over on someone, or they want to, retaliate. That's not the answer. And so watching what you say is important. If you go to your grandparents' house and maybe they have dinner and maybe you don't like the dinner, do you tell grandma that I don't like it? Or do you basically say, oh, grandma, it's really good? And then she brings you a whole other loaf and you got to eat that. Rather than saying, hey, grandma, I know you worked really hard on dinner and I love the carrots and I love the French fries and the mashed potatoes are great. I feel bad, but I want to be honest and tell you that I don't like the fish. And she, let's say, might turn to a frown like, oh, we always like my fish. I do. Just this time it didn't taste very good. Well, no one else said anything. And I'm looking at my parents and it's like, yeah, the fish was kind of not good tonight. Look at my dad. Said, yeah, none of you are going to say anything? Well, being that John said something. So you were all just going to not say anything. I think some people don't want to have conflict, which is why they say something else. And when I mean watch what you say, the reason I say that is once something comes across your lips, you cannot take it back. Of course, you can say, I'm sorry. But if you've told, let's say, suppose your best friend that I hate you, or I don't want to hang around with you, or you're an idiot, or you say something that's not in jest or it's not a joke, or the best was we had a group and there was a test. We had one teacher who was for non-Western culture, and a lot of kids would basically take off his class like it was like a bird class, similar to a music class, because they think, oh, it's so easy, it's simple. And so he decided that he's going to not make it a bird class anymore. So he'd give reading assignments. And then when we came back in, he said, okay, pull out a piece of paper and number it from 1 to 10. And, what's this? So like, it's a surprise quiz. On what? On the reading. I remember this one kid, Timmy, in the hallway. And I asked him, I said, Timmy, I said, did we get a quiz in Mr. Bryan's class? He's like, I'm not talking to you. And he's still sore at me for what went on. It was funny. He was nice to me around my birthday. And then a week after, he became sore again. And I said, look, I know you don't like me right now. I know you're still against me. I said, but at least, can you tell me if there's a test or not? I want to do well on this. Just like you want to get great grades, I want to get great grades. I didn't read the chapter last night, and I don't want to get an F. He looked at me and he says, John, I'm not talking to you, but I'm just going to tell you something. I'd read the chapters 2, 4, and 9 very well. And I said, did you get a quiz? And he just said to me, John, do I ever tell you to read anything? No. And I think you can figure out whether we had a quiz or not. And I said, oh. All the other people in that group wanted to know the answer if they had a quiz. And each and every one of them, he went right out and said to them, yes. But you know what he didn't do to those other 2 people? And I'll never forget this. He wasn't talking to me, but I must have rubbed off on him a little bit because he said yes. He didn't tell the other 2 guys what chapters they should be reading. There were like 4 or 5 chapters. He told me the 2 chapters to focus on. So that meant, even though he wasn't directly showing me respect, he subconsciously was trying to. And when I say watch what you say, I say this because if you don't, the image that you project might get back to somebody else that will think that's not a joke. And that person it gets back to might affect your employment, might affect friendships, other relationships, business deals. Because once somebody knows that your character is not as clear and as trusting as they believed, they back off. So watch what you say so you can preserve your integrity, so you can make sure that you come off with the right view. Not because you have to, but because you want to. And I feel that if you can just do that one thing, watch what comes out of your lips. Maybe you're somewhere and you're really annoyed, you want to say something, and before you do that, just take a deep breath. Count to 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Walk away. The frustration or the heat of the moment caused this to happen a lot in school. It was called retaliation. I never retaliated. I was always quiet because I believed when I got there that retaliation was not going to make me a better person. It might have made me feel good for that one moment, but then I'd be regretting it once I got detention. I'd be regretting it again when I have to see that person. And when I think back on this one person, I think about how I respected the person, and I realized today why that person was the way they were. I thought they were really smart, and I didn't care whether they were smart or not, but they weren't as smart as they let on to believe. They got ahead, but let's say doing not what they were supposed to do. They got ahead by flirting with the girls, getting their homework. See, that wasn't the right thing, but they appeared to be the in crowd. And I suddenly learned that I don't want to be with the in crowd. I don't want to be with the crowd because they exemplify the morals and values that I believe in life. So when I say to you, watch what you say, something you say could seem so innocent, but it could trip up a lot of red flags, and it could also bring an installation of hurt to someone so badly that they don't want to say anything to you. And in grammar school and high school, most people didn't retaliate right away. They just became quiet. I remember the same kid becoming quiet to me, and we were on a team in gym class. And if you don't cooperate in the gym class and you don't cooperate together, well, you're going to get a lower mark. Every day we got a grade based on our participation, not by how well we performed, but how well did we put effort in. We got a grade for effort. Even if you didn't hit the ball, if you put all your effort in, you got a great grade. Part of that grade was, were you on time? Did you come with the right clothing? And so this one kid, Tim, was there, and Tony, and he said to me, we were on the team, and remember, he's not talking to me. And I said, "Oh, you're talking to me." He's like, "Don't get used to it, John. I'm only doing this because I want a good grade in gym." And as soon as gym class ended, he went back to not talking to me. And I just said to myself, why are people like this? Why do people have to appear that they're better than you? And why, when you learn the truth, do they play denial? And I think it's because they've built themselves up so high. And this is what I learned from this one kid. He built him up so high, but when he graduated, he did okay, but he really wasn't the student that he said he was, which is okay to me. But the way he'd put me down and put other people down, if we got one wrong answer, he says, "Well, I'm an A student. I don't want to hang around with you." We were better students than he was, but we weren't throwing that in his face. So watch what you say. We all live in glass houses. And so thank you so much, Daniel. It's great to see you. Good to see you again tonight. So we're talking about a very interesting thing and bringing some great stories up from my childhood. We all live in glass houses, okay? And if I throw a rock at your house, I'm going to break your glass. But, I live in a glass house too. So you throw a rock, you're going to go through my window. And I know definitely not at the grammar school level, our mentalities weren't fully developed. Even in high school, they weren't really developed. We were trying to understand the person we were, the morals. We were trying to understand what was right, what was wrong. We were still learning. And then we had to be responsible. And whenever you did something that deviated from the norm, you had to really ask yourself, was this the right choice? Because I could get in trouble. But then again, is this worth standing up for what I want? I'll give you an example. Being a prep for a long time, still am, there was a movement in school. So from basically from May 1st, October 1st, and still today, I don't wear socks. And every teacher, was telling me in school, John, you have to wear socks after, all time. And I said, no. And, they said, if you keep this up, you're going to go to detention. So I happened to notice that one of my teachers, a math teacher, never wore socks either. And so I talked to him one day after class, and I'm gonna call him a different name. I'm gonna call him Mr. Morgan. That wasn't his name. And I said, Mr. Morgan, I said, I always respect you and everything you do, and I always try to do very well in your class. I need to ask for your honest opinion. He says, yeah. I said, I know you don't wear socks from May 1st to October 1st. If you notice, I don't wear socks either during those times. And when I'm in your class, I know you never say anything to me. You know, every other teacher's busts my what. And I said, I think this is unfair. And I know that I'm risking possibly being thrown in detention for, challenging something. And he says, John, he says, I know saying that to me took a lot of courage. Yes, it did. Well, first of all, John, I'm not going to give you detention. So that's good. He says, I don't wear socks either, if you've noticed. I said, yes, that's why I came and talked to you. I don't agree with that rule. And so here's what I think we should do. I think we should go down to the principal, and I think we should talk to him and tell him that this rule is not really fair. So we go down after our recess. We're down to talk to him. We don't tell this to anybody else. And the school's person's name, the principal, was, I'll just call him Brother Tom. That wasn't his name, but we go to see Brother Tom, and he was always very nice. And I said, hi, Brother Tom. I said, I'm here with my teacher. I said, and we have a slight challenge. I never try to challenge your rules. I always try to follow everything to the nines, dress code, everything. But I need to challenge something because I think it's unfair. He says, well, what's that? We have a dress code. And both myself and the teacher, we don't wear socks from May 1st to October 1st. We haven't wore them for years. But in your handbook, it says that if we don't wear if we don't wear socks, we're going to get a detention. And I feel like all the teachers around here are just gloating with that. And they use that and they harass me with that. Every time I'm in class, I get teased about it, telling me, well, next time it's going to be detention. And I said, Brother Tom, what's this rule really for? He said, well, John, our purpose for the rule was a health condition. Okay. So we all wear clean shoes. We air our shoes at home. We let them air out. And you can still get athlete's foot. You can still get this back and forth. I know students that have gotten this even wearing socks. That's true. So why is this a rule? He says, John, I really don't know. I think maybe we should reconsider this. So he says, I'll tell you what, you guys can both keep wearing no socks for the rest of this month, and I'll get back to you on Friday and let you know. In the meantime, I will tell all the other teachers, including to not bother you as a teacher, to not bother you as a student, because this rule is kind of in flux right now, and we're going to review it. So the next day comes by, and this teacher comes up to me, my English teacher, and he says, "John, you're not wearing socks." And I said, "Have you talked to our principal?" "No." I said, "I would talk to our principal because I spoke to him." And so she calls him up. We have phones in the classroom. She calls him up and says, "Mr. Morley is here without socks again, and I'm about to give him a detention." And he's like, "You didn't get the memo." She's like, "No, I didn't get any memo." "Well, there was a memo in your box, and it says not to be harassing him or the math teacher that doesn't wear socks. We're going to revisit this rule, and for the rest of this month, there are no consequences for not wearing socks. We're going to revisit this rule. We think this rule might need to be removed." Okay. So I think it was a Friday afternoon, the last Friday of the month. I was called to the principal's office, called the loudspeaker, and I was like, "You're going to get in trouble," and all this wonderful stuff. And I was like, so I go down there, and the other gentleman, the math teacher, was there too. And he says, "I've got you both down here." I said, "Okay." I said, "So we've reviewed the policy, and it appears that we've been unfair. That we stated something because of what we wanted, but we really didn't look at the best interest for the students. And you guys both make a very good case. And frankly, the board has no reason to disagree. Therefore, effective immediately from May 1st to October 1st, no student is required to wear socks. However, after October 1st, socks must be required. And you may not start wearing socks until May 1st. That's great. And Brother Tom said to me, "John, sometimes rules are put in place to help others. And adults do this to try to do the best they can. However, no one's perfect. And what you're starting to realize is becoming a young adult, that sometimes there's a proper and professional way to approach challenging a rule. And the way you guys approached me and talked about it was very adultly, the way you did it. I know you had a lot of challenges and a lot of people that were against you. However, it's funny now that we've changed the rule that everyone else has changed their tune. And so watch what you say was important, because all these people that were calling us names, that were doing all these things about this, guess what happened? Some of these people started realizing, well, maybe we should stop wearing socks because it's so hot out. Exactly. And all these people that are poking fun changed it. But it takes someone to be able to stand up in a proper and a professional way, not as a jerk, but in a proper and a professional way, and present the case and the reason to why you feel this rule may be unjust. See, that's a proper adult. I think what happens with a lot of parents is students and also children will challenge their parents. Now, maybe they have a curfew and it's 8 o'clock. And so you don't yell, "Oh, why are you not letting me?" Okay, you don't do that. You say, "Mom, Dad, I know you have a curfew, 8 o'clock. I know there's a reason because you're concerned, you want me to be home and be safe." And I agree with that. My other friends have curfews of 9 and 10 o'clock, and some don't even have curfews. I'm asking if it would be possible that I know on the weekends I have a later curfew till 10 o'clock. I'm asking that on at least Wednesday and Thursday night if I could stay out till 9:30 as opposed to 8. And my parents came back and said, well, why do you want that? I said, well, my friends and I still play outside. And if we play ball or if we walk or we do something, by the time we walk and come back, it's after 8. And then we're rushing to get here. And I said, you know what? We'll extend your curfew to 9:30 Monday through Thursday, because I already had it at 9:30, at 10:30 actually on Friday night. And so I said, oh, thank you. Now, some parents, when you say it, it's like, well, this is the way it's going to be, and if you don't like it, it's too bad. See, if you're a dictator, you might seem like you're more powerful, but you actually have less control. Thus, when you actually give away power, you have more power because you have more respect. I know this went a little longer tonight, but this was really important. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm John C. Morley, serial entrepreneur. You know, it's been an amazing privilege, pleasure, and honor to be with you this evening, as it is every single evening. Please be sure to like and support my channel on SiteMark, Curious Mark the channel. Comment below. Watch what you say. Have you had a situation maybe in childhood or school or college or a situation in business where you didn't watch what you said or somebody else didn't watch and it got you into trouble? Maybe it taught you a lesson. Tag your friends, your colleagues, and your associates. Share this out with everyone you know on social media. And then be sure to go to my YouTube channel, John Spacey space Morley, serial entrepreneur, and look for the key phrase, help keep our content free. And then make the choice, ladies and gentlemen, to buy my team and I a cup of coffee. You know, we'll be so grateful for those pennies and dollars. We'll invest them into new hardware, new technology, new equipment, new software, even new staff to give you the most jaw-dropping, motivational, inspirational content to give you the tools to make you a better version of yourself and help everyone else become better versions of themselves. I will see you guys tomorrow, Monday night. Have yourself a great rest of your Sunday and enjoy the rest of your weekend.